What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another FPL video. My name is Mo, and today I'll be going through my team selection for Game Week 4. Game Week 3 has just completed. Liverpool and United were the last game to be played, and overall my score has come in for Game Week 3. We'll review how I did in Game Week 3 and how I line up for Game Week 4. Am I making any transfers or no transfers at all? What my captaincy decisions are and what my thought process is short to long term. Moving on to the next couple of game weeks, because the games will come thick and fast. We're going to have midweek games and it's going to be decision making instantly. So stay tuned and be, part of this channel. If you hit the subscribe button and be part of our family, and if you like the video, give us a like as well. So let's get stuck into how I did in Game Week 3. So not a great week. The average points was 48, and for the first time this season, I have been below the average score. It was pretty much a difficult game week for most managers if they went template or kind of the most popular players like I have. But it's kind of been the week of the team that you have where you have, like, let's say the rookie slash kind of like not so common transfers in your teams, so i.e. Rodrigo did well. You've had Tony that's now getting a bit more ownership, that did well as well. So you've got a lot of players which potentially aren't part of, like, let's say, called the template pick, like Zaha, for example, as well, who've done really well this week, making big scores and overall, giving people a better rank. So people who played Andreas rather than Bailey, for example, got 8 points as well. So it's been a kind of a mixed week, but it's not going to be much of a knee-jerk from me. I think my team is pretty well set up, and looking at my fixtures coming from my starting 11 for next game week, I feel quite comfortable. But let's review how Game Week 3 went. At the back, nothing much to write home about. Gabriel was my best defender with 7 points. As a return, he got a clean sheet plus a bonus point. City defensively conceded 3 goals. Was I expecting that at the start of this game week? Pretty much no. If someone had said to me that Newcastle would score 3, I probably would have said it's going to be quite unlikely, but they scored 3. 1 point for Edison and no points for Cancelo because he got a yellow card in the game as well. So a disappointing game for Manchester City. Now, do I believe City's defence overnight is someone that we can not trust any further? Of course not. They're going to be the team with pretty much the most clean sheets, or one of the teams that's going to have the highest number of clean sheets at the end of the season. Now, moving forward, I think I will still stay with the two at the back for City, and these two players are pretty much nailed on for most of the season, barring if there's any injuries or anything else that happens in terms of them not being in favour for the starting 11. Now let's move on to Liverpool. So Trent Alexander-Arnold has been under so much spotlight from the media. He was outrun by Elanga, then Martial came on, Rashford gave him a tough time. Now, what I want people to remember is Alexander-Arnold, yes, he gets his clean sheet points from previous seasons, great, but primarily I brought him into my squad was not just clean sheets, he was kind of like my additional midfielder, which will get me returns in terms of assists and goals. It hasn't happened so far in the first 3 game weeks. Am I concerned? Not overly, to be fair. I think he's got enough credit in the bank for me to back him for a couple of more game weeks. I don't think I'm going to take him out yet, but if we look at it overall, there's been about 250,000 managers at the time of recording this video that have transferred him out of their teams this week. Now, he's owned over like 51% of managers, so that's not really that much, but I think people just need to be a bit more kind of patient with him. Robertson is going out of the team as well. I don't think you need to get rid of both, but if you do have Trent Alexander-Arnold, I personally would recommend that right now is a good time to keep hold of him, because there's just no need to knee-jerk and move away. I mean, who else is there that's potentially better? Is it worth taking out funds from Trent in defence and adding it to the midfield? There's an argument around that, but I just think overall there will be a time. If I stuck with him through his tough times, then I think good times are around the corner, and fixtures do look promising for Liverpool moving forward. They've got Bournemouth on the weekend. Would you really want to move him out of your squad before that game? I don't think so. Moving on to my Chelsea double defence, 1 point each from Cucurella and James. I did not expect also Leeds to score 3 goals on the weekend, but hats off to them. They played absolutely phenomenal. No returns from them attackingly as I expect, but James had a chance just past the post. Cucurella had a chance where he flashed it wide, and then he set up Sterling in the first half where it was an offside goal. So it could have been different, but overall, not really much in terms of to write home about. And they've got some decent fixtures still coming up, so I'm still going to pretty much stay with them for this week. Let's just hope for the best, and I don't think my defence or backline from one bad game week has become bad overnight. If I've entrusted them, there's a reason behind it. I just need to wait for another game week to hopefully bring me some good points home. And then in midfield, Mr. Reliable Salah didn't have the best of games, but still got me 16 points, 8 points, but doubled because he was my captain, kind of saved my week. Not much really to write home about in terms of his own personal performance, but this is what Salah does. He might have one of the worst game weeks you can imagine, but he will still come around and get you double-digit returns. So he kind of saved my game week got me an overall good score. He's most likely going to be my captain next week as well, and there's no way I'm getting rid of Salah at any point soon or any time soon in my team. Kulusevski was a disappointment. We've discussed it already. 3 points against Wolves. So easily could have had more if Son had been in form, or what we'd know him in terms of finishing. Even Kane hit the bar off a cross from Kulusevski. It could have been another story, but 3 points. They've got Nottingham Forest next game, so I'm hoping to keep him in for that game as well, and I'm sure he will get me some good returns. So, it's a shame that I brought him in after he got that big haul, but I was kind of expecting it in this game week, but you never know. He'll probably go big, fingers crossed, in this coming week against Nottingham Forest. And then what can we say? Mr. Reliable Martinelli, 6 points for me pretty much every other game. Got me another return. Arsenal looking good, and I think I've chose the right players. I so easily could have chosen Saka at the start of the season, but I think I've done wise to choose Martinelli. 6 points again. And I'm glad that I've got the triple of Arsenal. They're the team that in form on the pitch and in terms of FPL. And his link-up partner, Jesus, got me 4 points. So unlucky not to get a goal. He was like a pixel on a screen offside. I feel sorry for all the people that have captained him, because if that point score had come in, this probably could have been a lot more fruitful week in terms of returns for managers who have captained Jesus. So 4 points for him. So Arsenal had got me some really good points and pretty much saved my game week. And Haaland, ever reliant, 6 points again. Could have been more if he'd actually finished off that chance between that minute and a half that City got those 2 goals back. They had another chance where Haaland was one-on-one with Pope and kind of hit it at him. And that could have been 3-3 there. But I'm expecting better things to come again from Haaland, because he's kind of like that moment man. And at the moment, I think what things for me at the moment kind of click for him is that, he's getting the chances. He just hasn't been clinical enough in finishing them. So overall, 45 points for this game week. 3 points below the average. My rank has moved from 1.1 mil to 2.1 mil. Not too bothered about the rank at the moment. As I said, we're going to wait till around game week 9 to 10 is where the ranks are really going to start becoming a bit more inevitable. But for now, pretty content. Let's see if I can continue to move back towards the million/500,000 in the next week, and then move myself back up within the top 100 to 50k as well. That's the kind of overall objective. And I want to win the FPL league as well in the worldwide. So let's just hope for the best. Now, how are we lining up for game week 4? This is what the team looks like, guys. So at the back, Edison will stay in goal. I'm not making any transfers in this team, by the way, guys. So this is going to be like first week I'm going to go without any transfers. So Edison at the back with Cancelo for the Crystal Palace game at home. Crystal Palace have done well traditionally in the last couple of years at the Etihad. They should give them a tough game with them being in such good form, and players like Eze, Zaha, Edouard showing some real good potential in attacking sense. So can they keep a clean sheet? That'd be worthwhile seeing. I'm going to keep Trent Alexander-Arnold against Bournemouth at home at Anfield. There should be a reaction now from Liverpool after that game against Manchester United. What better place to play than at home at Anfield in front of their own crowd against Bournemouth? I think there could be a chance that Trent finds some form, and it's a good chance he could get a clean sheet with potential bonus points with attacking returns as well. And then we've got James and Cucurella at home against Leicester. Again, a reaction should come from Chelsea. They turned up last time against Spurs at home. Will there be another reaction from them against Leicester at home? Leicester defensively, yes, do look kind of like fragile. But in terms of going forward, Maddison's kind of carrying the team at the moment. They'll be put under test, but let's see if I can get some attacking returns from them. They come out with a clean sheet, job well done, double Chelsea. Kind of goes well for me there. And we've got Gabriel at home versus Fulham. So again, I should feel fairly comfortable. Hopefully getting up a clean sheet and maybe some bonus points with there as well. So that's what my back line looks like. Captaincy will still remain on Salah for this game week against Bournemouth. Yes, Haaland's playing Crystal Palace, but I just think, putting captaincy on Salah, for me, there'll be I reckon there'll be a strong reaction from Liverpool. They would be, kind of shaken by the performance at Manchester United. There's a lot of, scrutiny around it. The whole Mane saga, players being injured. Salah getting the big contract, I think, you can't keep this guy quiet for too long. And I think, with the home crowd, really behind him, Salah will turn up. He will definitely do a good job. And I think I just want to back him this week in terms of him playing at home versus Bournemouth. And then my next player is Kulusevski at Nottingham Forest away, which will be a tough game. Forest at home have done really well this season so far. They've shown real potential, and I think, Spurs are going to have a tough time. I think they should win the game. Let's see if Kulusevski is able to give me a return, which I've been kind of craving for the last couple of weeks. And then we've got Martinelli versus Fulham at home. Now, Martinelli, I don't see any risk of rotation as of yet. Yes, Odegaard's done well. Saka, has been disappointing FPL-wise. But, I think, in terms of Martinelli himself, I think he's going to get some pretty regular minutes. And against Fulham at home, There's going to be a lot of managers who are now bringing him in. He's around 43% owned. I expect more managers to bring him in because, you know, around the 6.3 mil mark in price, he's doing really well. And the alternatives are like obviously Rashford, Pascal Gross. You know, you've got players around that price range who are doing extremely well. Rodrigo as well. But Martinelli for me, you know, is pretty much should be number one in terms of, you know, fixture / form. He's done extremely well so far for Arsenal. And then obviously his partner in crime, who's done extremely well, is Jesus. Over 80% of managers own him, which is insane. And how many people are going to captain this week? It's probably going to be pretty high as well. Fulham at home, I think it should be a good game either way, because Fulham are playing attacking football and Jesus has just been instrumental pre-season, start of the season, and I think he's going to be like the signing of the season. If he stays fit and he can stay, you know, I'd say in form in front of goal and he gets the service, this guy's an incredible finisher. Really surprised to see City let him go, but to be fair, at Arsenal, this guy could be the difference between top four and not being in the top four, which was last season. So a good start. I think he can definitely carry it on. The fixtures on his side, and I just generally believe that he's just a must-have in your squad. So that's why he's in my team. Not going to be captain this week, so I'll put that on Salah, but he's extremely close in terms of one of the captaincy options that I may consider for this week. And then, last but not least, is Haaland in my squad against Crystal Palace at home. Now, could he be rotated? Because there are 3 games coming along in the next kind of week for them. Now, Pep has said in his press conferences that there will be rotation. What we can gather from that is could be like, you know, he could like have 3 games and he could miss the middle game, but usually it could be he plays the first 2 and be rested for the 3rd game. We just have to wait and see, because Haaland was promised that he'll get rotation and rest as well, because he's not known for being back-to-back in every single game week. So that is now going to be a concern. So what I'm potentially thinking in the next couple of game weeks, it might be a bit controversial. You guys might, you know, raise your eyebrows of why I may even think of doing that, is now that the competitions are going to start picking up in terms of like Champions League, FA Cup will eventually start for them in the new year. You'll have the Carabao Cup, you'll have other competitions that will be coming in, and, you know, midweek games, even from the Premier League. What the kind of consensus or what I'm thinking at the moment is Haaland might get rotated. At the same time, do I have better value elsewhere? And that's Harry Kane. Harry Kane has some really fruitful fixtures coming up for Spurs. So as I can see from Kulusevski, I can show you. They've got Nottingham Forest this week, then they've got West Ham, Fulham, Man City, and then Leicester, Arsenal, Brighton, Everton. So some really good fixtures there. The thing with Harry Kane you find is he rarely gets rotated. And I think, you know, even with Richarlison being there, most likely to be rotated there, it's going to be Son or Kulusevski. So potentially moving forward, I could go Kulusevski to Diaz. People might raise their eyebrows. Liverpool are not doing great. But I think there's the best to come from Liverpool. Jota will be back soon. And I think that will add some kind of like, you know, what can I say the right word? Add some kind of venom to their attack. Nunes is out for 3 weeks, so I think he's pretty much going to be nailed to play back-to-back because of the injury / suspensions. So there's a bit of things I'm thinking around there at the moment, but for this game week, I'm going to stick with this team for now. The only kind of thought process I have for the next coming game weeks is I'll have 2 free transfers. Potentially Kane could come in for Haaland and Kulusevski could go out for Diaz, and, you know, I might look to move on from Cucurella to another 5 million goalkeeper. Could be a 5 million goalkeeper, plus to add like 500,000 to my defender, which could take me up to a Perisic. But I think I might be still comfortable with Edison in there, and Cucurella could go for another 5 mil alternative. But we'll think about Cucurella later, because I've backed him for a couple of game weeks, so I should give him that. But i.e., at the moment, the kind of thought process is Haaland to Kane, Kulusevski to Diaz. That could happen very, very soon. But not this game week. This is how the team looks for now. If any injuries occur, we can make some final minute changes. But for now, this is what the team looks like for game week 4. Let me know what your thoughts are on my game week, my squad itself. Let me know what you're thinking about. What players are you looking to bring in, or you've brought in already? We can discuss. Do you have any kind of plans for the coming weeks, or you're unsure of? Let me know in this comments section. If you haven't subscribed yet, guys, why not? Thank you so much. The channel is growing absolutely quickly and the family is getting bigger and bigger, which we love. Hit that subscribe button, hit the like button if you like the content as well, and be tuned in for daily content for FPL this season. I'm Mo. I'll be back with some more content tomorrow, and I hope you guys have a good day and best of luck for game week 4. Till then, take care and hit that subscribe button, please.